All right, we're gonna cover the push jerk, power jerk, whatever you want to call it. Technique that I use for overhead press. So I start with a traditional push press. I'll show the push press here. You got the bar in the rack position. Everything's stable up top. Bend at the knees. Push press. Push press. So I can do push presses pretty repetitively, and then once my push press runs out of power, I can do a power jerk or push jerk. The push jerk is literally the same thing as the push press, except when you push the bar up like this, you push yourself and bend your knees down under the bar. So you're pushing yourself, you're using the weight. You're throwing the weight up to here, and if it's 200 pounds, you're using 200 pounds to push yourself underneath it. So you may only be able to push the weight to here, but simultaneously you will push yourself underneath it. It's called a push jerk. So here I'm gonna do a set of I think this is 9 reps. Push press to start, and then push jerk. So this is in real time. Did this today. Got the axle clean and press away. So push press, push press, push press, push press, jerk that one. That was a little baby jerk. That wasn't a good one. Jerk that one. I'm throwing the weight there, and then up, I'm pushing myself underneath that bar. So those first few push presses were good, but I realized the strength on the triceps wasn't going to be there to lock the weight out. So I throw the weight up as high as I can right there, and I'm pushing underneath it. The main thing you got to remember is you're not pressing this weight. I never try to press the weight when I'm overhead pressing. I always try to throw the weight as high as I can. And then once I fatigue and I can't throw the weight all the way up, or my triceps can't lock the weight out, that's when I revert to the push jerk, to where, okay, now I'm throwing the weight as high as I can. I can't throw it any higher. I'm gonna fail the rep if I don't push myself underneath the bar. Most people, they don't do this, and they won't do it because it's a little bit, it plays with your mental. People get kind of scared because you're literally pushing yourself underneath a heavy load above your head. You're dropping yourself under that weight. Just like if you're doing a power clean, a heavy power clean, you're power cleaning the weight up, and then you're having to drop underneath it. So I'll try to show the push jerk. It is easier, it's easier to me with a heavier weight because it forces me to do it. With a lighter weight, you don't have to drop under the bar to lock it out, so your brain's not telling you to do that. I've conditioned myself to where I can kind of feel it when I'm in the rack position, and then as soon as I push press, and I'm like, oh, I'm not locking this out. And that's why you'll see on some of my reps, if you ever watch me push press into push jerk, my first push jerk is my worst push jerk. And then my second, my third, my fourth rep on a push jerk gets better and better because I'm pushing myself under the weight faster. I'm bending my knees, my legs are getting a little wider. I'm able to drop underneath the weight faster. So I'll demonstrate and try to show how to do it. It really just takes putting weight on the bar and then kind of feeling your way up and really focusing on pushing the weight and then pushing underneath the weight and dropping it. So we'll show here, I'm gonna show 2 push presses and then I'm gonna show 2 push jerks. Everything here needs to be solid as a rock. So if you're like an Olympic lifter and you can rest the bar across your collarbone onto your front delts, that's even better. You're solid. I don't have that mobility. So when I've got the bar in the front rack position here, I'm resting my triceps on my lats as a springboard. And when you dip for your push press or your push jerk, this here, the bar, should never move. You should never dip and the bar go down with you. This should be solid, and then when you dip, it stays solid, okay? So I'll show 2 push presses, and maybe a failed one, and then some push jerks. We'll see how it goes. Push press, push press. Okay, I'm going to fail this one. I can't lock it out. My set is done. I cannot perform the push press. So what I do, I get ready to push press. Okay, I threw the bar as high as I could and then pushed underneath it. So I throw the bar up, up. That's all one motion though. You have to, you can kind of widen your legs. Makes it a little easier sometimes. It's kind of hard to explain without being there to show it, to teach it, to critique you as you're doing it. But if you'll get under the weight, do your push press, and then up the weight, practice the push jerk. And like I said, as the weight gets heavier for me, I find it easier. But a lot of people find it more scary because you're at a max weight for yourself and you can't perform another rep. You know you don't have the strength to push out another rep. So you're intentionally pushing the weight as high as you can, and then in order to get your triceps to lock the weight out, we're pushing against the bar to put ourselves underneath it. So give it a shot.